Welcome to Feasting on Agriculture. I'm Kristen Oaks White, and it is a beautiful day in Monterey, Louisiana, which is where we're here today at my father-in-law's farm, a place I know pretty well. And we're going to find out why raising beef is both a passion and a science for Lynn White.
Feasting on Agriculture is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Her daddy's an Angus man, and we had two Brangus sired heifers out of her first heifer she brought to me, and he had to have those heifers. Just because they had that little bit of ear in them.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm Lynn White. We raise registered Brangus cattle. We have about 150 fall calving cows and around 60, 70 head of replacement heifers a year.
This is really your passion, raising cattle.
Well, I grew up, my daddy had cattle and row cropped also, and he ended up leaving row crops and going completely into the cattle business, and that's probably my biggest passion out of all of it. We just don't have the land that we need to get bigger into cattle in our area, but so we went into the registered business, and we've sold bulls for probably right at 30 years now. We've raised bulls and sold bulls. These are two steaks from some steers we harvested. Now look at the intermuscular fat that's running through that meat.
Yeah. And you do know what genetically provides that to you, right? Angus, what would you say if somebody said, what kind of herd do you have?
I have a Brangus herd with a little Brahman influence because of the heat and the humidity in our area and what we need to avoid the heat on the stress on the animals. And they just seem to work a little better here for us. We do bring in some Hereford or Angus to go in with them to cross up some, but we still have a little bit of ear in them, about 3/16 Brahman at least all time.
So for somebody that doesn't understand the purpose that marbling serves and the finer marbling, why is that better?
For the flavor, for the taste.
Right.
Yeah, of the meat, and it tastes great. And we don't season. Maybe a little pepper, salt. Mm-hmm. No season. I like meat.
Is that the mark of a good steak?
Yes, I like meat. I don't like seasoning.
Okay. You've got a lot of passion since I've known you about the genetics and everything that goes into not just phenotypically making a better herd. Tell me, why are you so passionate about that?
Well, we basically want to raise the best we can. Mm-hmm. We have a very maternal herd. We also select for carcass, ribeye, IMF. We've used some Hereford bulls, and the Hereford bulls that we bought have been the top carcass genetics in the breed that we use, and we started feeding a few steers out to sell to people, mainly to use for ourselves. We were pretty disappointed with the meat we were buying in the grocery store, so we decided we'd start feeding our own steers again.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Isn't that a beautiful ribeye?
Yeah.
That's some of those that guy at Brookhaven.
What goes into producing a good cut of beef?
Easy handling, safe handling. We've really worked on that for a long time, and we've got our cattle down to where they're all really good, easy going, gentle. I
know a lot of people I don't think understand how well these animals are taken care of.
They're just like anything else. They have to be fed. They have to have something to go, energy to meet their needs. Management is the number one thing to success in any business. And it's the same with the beef business. And we have to care for the animals. When you sell a bull at an auction and you see what he brings, what you get rewarded for what he's done, for what you've done, for what you've produced, that's the reward in it.
Is there anything better than black cows on green grass?
Not much. Not much. No, that's a very good feeling.
When we come back, we're going to head into the kitchen to grill up some of this delicious farm-raised beef with somebody else I know pretty well, my husband, Landon White. Stay with us. a very special treat, I hope, for you. I've got my husband, Landon White, which is Lynn's son, and he is going to cook some of Lynn's beef for us because the one thing that you do really, really well is he cooks the best steak that I've ever had. And we cook steak a lot, do we not?
We do, yep.
But you've got to really, and you never want to cook for people, but I'm forcing you today to cook for all of our television viewers because you're very particular about how you cook your steaks.
Yes.
So what's the first thing you need to do?
I always like to start with selection, where you're going to get your beef from. Dad does a good job with the ones that he has fed to slaughter. If you go to the grocery store, the one thing you're looking for is the marbling, right?
The one thing that you always tell me to do is, if you're going to cook a steak for me, is to set it out.
Right. I always like to get it to, hand me a paper towel. I like to get it to room temperature. If not room temperature, just get it out an hour or so before you're going to cook it, and it helps with an even cook. And meat's always packaged with the wrapping. It's usually tight and deformed. I always like to take them with a paper towel and just dry them off as much as you can and really kind of get that shape that you like to see when a finished steak, and just kind of mold it and shape it. After it's about room temperature, we can set them out and put the seasoning on as you're getting your pan hot. Salt and pepper, usually you can get by really light. You're kind of letting the meat do the work here.
Okay.
And you like a lot of blackening seasoning on yours. Yes.
I like a lot of salt.
Yeah, a lot of salt. That's why I have high blood pressure and no money, because I use a lot of salt and we eat steaks all the time.
Okay, seasoning it a long time ahead of time can make it really, really salty.
Yeah, so that's why I'm putting, you're gonna say, my gracious, look at all that he's putting on there. But you're throwing these on in here in like 5 minutes. Then we're gonna throw some cracked black pepper on here. And this is what I like better than anything to help with the crust is the pepper.
Yes.
Another thing we're gonna do, grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil across all of it. And see, you can look at this and say, man, this guy can cook a steak. I can cook a steak at home.
Yes.
Because he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. But the judge at the house is Kristen.
And I'll tell you who else is a picky customer. Our 2-year-old.
Yes.
He likes steak.
And he will eat this, so if you can please him, you can please anybody. All right, we are ready to go on the fire. But you get that sizzle on there. That's what you want to hear. We want it hot, we want it going. All right, most important thing here, don't move it. You want to move it?
Patience.
Patience.
How long? Like 3 minutes?
It's all kind of by feel. Most people are going to say 2.5 minutes each side, but you're going to get a different cut of steak each time. It's going to be, the thickness is going to be different. So you just kind of go and learn as you go.
That's always how. See, he never goes by a recipe.
And I'm not going to use a meat thermometer either.
Okay. Do you want me to cut the butter up?
Yes. Here we go. There's our crust. All right, so we got our crust.
Okay.
We did a few minutes on one side, we flipped over on the other.
Your mama's going to see.
Perfect. We're going to butter bath. The most important part now is to let them rest.
Well, now it's time to test your cooking skills and your genetics and beef raising skills, because we've got this meal that's nicely put together. I added the side because you do the meat usually at home. I do the side, so we'll put a recipe on our website for all of this when we get done. But now it's time. Let's test. Let's test how well your son can cook.
I don't think I burned them too bad.
Looks pretty good to me.
Hard to mess it up.
Very good.
Just like it always is at home.
Didn't burn it too bad?
Pretty perfect. And I always tell you that sometimes it's the cut of meat when it's not good, but this cut of meat's awesome, so kudos to you. Well, this has been like a makeshift, one of our family dinners. So thank you so much, Lynn, for welcoming us out here today. I know you were very busy, you got a lot going on, but thank you for welcoming us. Everything has been wonderful. Landon, I had to put a gun to your head to get you to cook on TV, but
Didn't turn out too bad.
I guess this will be my Mother's Day gift, so.
There you go.
Thanks so much for joining us for Feasting on Agriculture. If you want one of these recipes, we'll put a link on our website at twilatv.org. Until next time, we'll see you feasting on agriculture.
Feasting on Agriculture was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board. Think rice.